Alright, the sequel boss unit to Skyride is here, along with a bunch of promos. So let's begin. So we start off with the new boss unit for the new manga, Formulights Nox, which is a grade 3 with 13 power, and for now it's a solo boss unit, but I do expect an eventual ride line, which has a skill of Count Vanguard, CP equal X, meaning pronounced Formula X. When you call a unit or play an order card during the main phase, increase your formula count by 1 into the end of your opponent's next turn. Just think of these as counters for this card. And obviously, since this is not once per turn, meaning the more counters you got, the stronger it gets. With the second skill, where Act Vanguard once per turn, cost energy plus 3, search your deck for up to one order card that is not a regardless piece, reveal it, put it in your hand, of course shuffle your deck. Searching throughout your whole entire deck for any order card is actually pretty strong, especially when it cannot be counterblast denied. With the third effect being Auto Vanguard once per turn, when this card attacks, cost counterblast 1, choose a grade 3 or less card from a drop zone and call it to rear guard, and both this and that unit gets plus 3k power for each of this formula count. But if it's a unit without formula lights, the auto abilities cannot activate from the call, and during that turn that the unit was placed, all its abilities are nullified. So like I said about this card, the more calls you do, basically the more counters you get, and considering that this gives you another call, it's one more counter. And let's not forget about the order card as well, which will give you another counter, and already it basically becomes a 4 attack deck. The only thing is, we are not having a Formula Lights deck just yet, considering that we do not have a full archetype just yet. This is just a solo boss unit at the moment, but I do see the potential of the ride line already. And also we got a new race for it as well called Mathroids. That might come up in the future as well. And now for the tournament promos. First off, here's the Gandiva one for Dragon Empire, Dancing Princess of Echoing Rock Attili, which is grade 1 with your power on the skills. Auto when placed on rear guard from hand, choose at least a grade 3 Gandiva from your ride deck, reveal it, and either that or your Vanguard is at least a grade 3 Gandiva. Look at top 5 cards of your deck to choose up to either one Gandiva or Mask of Hydrogram from among them, reveal it, and put it in your hand, of course shuffle your deck, which is of course very good because it searches for consistency pieces. And this time it's free, considering that some other cards require you to pay a Soul Blast or Counter Blast for this search, and Gandiva sometimes get resource heavy. In which the second skill is Auto Rigor. At the end of this unit boost, if you have at least a grade 3 Vanguard Gandiva, retire this unit to get energy charge 3. In Gandiva, mainly one card uses energy, so it is very nice to energy charge just for that one specific card, but adding on top of the Mask of Hydrogram Searcher, you're definitely going to really need this card just for the Mask of Hydrogram Searcher for the Dragon Tree Wretch. But overall good card just because it lets you search as well. Next for Crowin, Versatile Gear Monkey, which is a grade 1 with compound the skills. Auto, when placed on rear guard, choose at least a grade 3 Crowin from your rad deck, reveal it, and either that or your Vanguard is at least a grade 3 Crowin. At the top center of your deck to choose up to one normal unit that is not Sentinel, that is either Gear Colossus or Gear Dragon from among them, reveal it and put it in your hand, of course shuffle your deck. And if you put a card to your hand, choose a card from hand and put to Soul. This is a very nice consistency boost, especially for a deck that really needs resources of every kind. The Soul is very needed for the deck, and adding on top of consistency search. With the second skill, where Auto Rigor, when this card boosts, if you have at least a grade 3 Vanguard Gear Dragon, choose up to one normal unit that is not Sentinel from your drop or bind zone and put it to the bottom of the deck, and if you do, this card gets those 2k power at the end of battle, and at the end of battle, bind this unit. Becomes a 10k booster, which is a very nice number fixer, and also lets you recycle on top of that, with the added bind, which is also very helpful. Overall, very good card for Crowin, especially for the needed support. And now to a Messiah card, Perfect Circle Rotation Platurine, which is a grade 2 with taking power on the skills. Auto when placed on rear guard while you have an alter ego Messiah crest, cost counterblast 1, choose a card from your drop zone and put it to Soul, and then perform one of the following. Either draw a card, or your Vanguard is at least grade 3, choose a Messiah card from the drop zone and call it to rear guard. Already this is very good because not only that you can fill your Soul, which in turn means another draw, but you also get to either draw or superior call a card from your drop zone. And most of the time, of course, you're going to superior call the card from the drop zone, but if you use it on your grade 2 turn, you can still do some early game draws, which is also very helpful for the deck. So already, this is already really good, but even better with added skills. With the second skill being Auto Rear Guard, when this card attacks, if you have at least a grade 3 Vanguard Messiah, this card gives us 5k power in the end of battle, which is of course makes it a big beater on its own. Too bad it doesn't lock itself, although luckily thanks to its next ability, technically it doesn't need to be locked because Auto Rear Guard, once per turn, when you have at least a grade 3 Vanguard Messiah, and it just attacks, cost energy rest 3 to stand this unit. It is better for you to lock and unlock during battle because that means that you get the extra attack without the counter heal, but it is very helpful that you got another restand rear guard in case that you are not able to lock this, which of course you won't be able to because it doesn't self-lock. Most of the locking is actually self-locking. But it is nice that it uses energy for the restand instead of anything else, because this deck doesn't really use energy, so this is just a way to waste energy basically. And it's just very nice that it does quite a lot just because it's a restand and rearguard that is also a big beater on its own for both attacks while also giving you resources. Although you might still prefer to do the self-locking more just because self-locking actually gives you the extra benefits rather than not self-locking and just restand. And then next up, draw your sword, which is a grade 2 normal order, and the skill is that you put this soul, draw a card, and choose a card from hand, call it to rearguard if it's grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, and then discard if it's not. And your opponent's Vanguard is at least grade 3, the called unit gets this ability until the end of the opponent's next turn. Count rearguard, this card cannot be chosen by your opponent's abilities, and during your turn it gets plus 5k power. Basically, it's a 1-for-1 trade, while also gaining the soul, and protection and power for 1 turn. You could debate whether to run this or not. I do like the Blaster Blade in its artwork, or technically not Blaster Blade because Blaster Blade refers to the sword, and right now he's not holding the Blaster Blade. But I would say if you want to run a generic order, definitely the Nebula Knights order instead of this one. But this one's not too bad either. And then we go to Argo Siren Atia, which is a grade 1 with power in the skills. Auto when placed on rearguard while you have a Vanguard Argo Siren, cost Soul Blast 1, choose a Titan card with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from your drop zone and put it to your order zone, which is very nice to cheat out your Titan cards. And it's also kind of nice that you can use this in the early game, especially since you do have grade 1 Titan cards. In which the second skill is Auto Back Row Rearguard or Hand at the beginning of the guard step. On a battle with an Argo Siren being attacked, cost put this card to your drop zone, and that unit gets plus 10k power in a battle. This is not intercept, this is basically you give the 10k shield before the guarding even happens. Overall, it is pretty nice. It lets you cheat out your Titan cards, which is the most important part. I love the added bonus of being a 10k shield technically, especially on before guarding, which could also avoid guard restricts. And finally to our last card, Diva of Water and Light or Chelta, which is a grade 2 with 10 power in the skills. Count rearguard, if you have at least a grade 3 Vanguard Pacifica, this unit gets boost, which is helpful for the deck since sometimes you do have some weird lineups. In which the second skill is Auto rearguard at the end of this unit boosts, cost put this soul, and then choose up to one of your grade 3s or greater Pacifica that was called by the ability of your at least grade 3 Vanguard Pacifica during this turn. Into the end turn, change its drive check to 1 and perform drive checks for that unit's attack, which is of course very nice because that means now you have rearguard drive checks on top of already being a 10k booster and adding on soul on top of it. But the last skill, Act Drop, if your opponent's Vanguard is at least grade 3, cost bind this card, choose at least a grade 3 Vanguard Pacifica, and it gets this skill into the end turn. Count Vanguard, the original power of the center column of Pacificas become 18,000 into the end turn. This is so it doesn't stack, just like Airmo, hence why the 18k base, and sometimes depending on certain matchups where you got permanent minusing, you might actually want to change it to default 18,000. Overall, very good new addition because it definitely just benefits you a lot with the boost, soul, and especially rearguard drive checks. And that Pacifica can always be bounced back to hand just because it's lyrical. And here's the full list of the promos along with the reprints, and I have to say the reprints are kind of weird to me. And next week we got more festival collection reveals, this time with the generics. And I am still hoping for my new former Rezal. And so that's it for these new reviews with a bunch of promos. What do you guys think of it? The promo stuff is just very simple to say since they are all just very good for their respective decks, and a good number of them are decks I actually play. But the Formulights boss unit is definitely pretty interesting. Kinda strange that they decided to reveal a whole archetype without revealing the whole archetype. They just literally reveal one card, and at the moment it just makes that solo boss unit without a full deck. But I do definitely see a potential ride line in the future, because for this deck, for being a Manga Protag, it would be kinda weird for it to be a solo boss unit. But overall, awesome cards. But on that, that's it for this, and see you all next time.